Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you are well wherever you are, whatever the damn time. Welcome back to another episode of Bitesize Bodybuilding, where I break down topics in natural bodybuilding into smaller segments to help you with your competition prep or your off season. So today I wanted to talk about carb cycling and why I think that should be an integral part of your contest prep. Before I get into why I think that you should make it an integral part of your process, we need to establish what carb cycling actually is. So essentially it's going through different amounts of carbohydrate throughout the week. So for example, you might have lower carbohydrate on your rest days. You might end up having higher carbohydrate on days where you train, or more specifically, you might have higher carbohydrate on specific training days. Or you can structure it in a way where you have lower carbohydrate for a period of time. So let's say you do 3 or 4 days of pretty low carb, and then you have a period of time where you're refeeding. So you'll have 2 or 3 days where you feed up. Okay, so number one, I think it protects something that a lot of people forget about during their contest prep because they get so obsessed with the scale that they forget about this part of their process, and it's the training. And refeeding and cycling your carbohydrates can help protect your performance in the gym, which is really important. I can typically look at somebody and tell whether or not their training is going really well. And if you're a coach watching this, you'll be able to relate because let's say you've taken on a new client and they're going through a period where training isn't very good, it's not very consistent, maybe they've been hypercaloric for a very, very long time, and they're just stuck. They need a coach to help them get them out of the mess, right? Bringing up their food and actually having them train really well, you'll notice that their body weight might not change that much, or it might even go slightly up, or it might drop slightly regardless, but the changes won't be drastic, but the look will improve a lot. And that's because of their training performance. So you can actually use carb cycling to help preserve that performance as much as possible, because that still matters. Don't just get caught up in the scale weight. If you have particular training sessions that are a little bit more taxing, so like a leg day, or you have a weaker body part, or you've noticed from previous diets that when you do go hypercaloric, that's the session that takes the biggest hit, it could be wise to put higher food on those days, right? If you're going into the gym and you're putting a plate on the hack squat and you feel like you're going to pass out, or you feel like you could be knocked over by the wind and you can't even train properly because you're so ruined by how low food is, it's probably not wise. It's probably not going to result in a great look if you're trying to run that for a long period of time. Secondly, I think carb cycling is a great stress management tool. So for a lot of people, they don't like dieting just in a linear fashion where, okay, here's your food, it's the same level of food, and you're going to run that for however long until we basically see the scale stall, and then we just drop down again. And for a lot of people, they would actually rather maybe push a little bit harder, but then feed up. If you can keep stress relatively low, if you can diet in a fashion that feels less stressful, I think it has an impact on the way that you look. Thirdly, I think it reduces the frequency of stalls in body weight. I don't really want to call them stalls in terms of fat loss. It's more just a pseudo kind of stall. So there'll be a stall in body weight due to water retention from stress that's accumulated from pushing hard in fat loss. It might be a stall in body weight from just poor GI motility. So you've spent such a long time on low volume food with low fiber that you're not getting as much movement from the GI. It's also atrophied a little bit, it's smaller. So having regular days where you're having higher food, you're having higher fiber, more volume, it can help keep movement going in that aspect of things. I also think refeeding or carb cycling helps a lot with adherence. It's no secret you're going to be hungry on a contest prep. Others deal with that better than other people, some people worse. Having refeeds can help mitigate that a little bit, which ultimately, if it's going to help them stay in the fight of a contest prep for longer because they're having those higher days, it makes sense to do it. And finally, it provides a bit more of an understanding as to what you look like when you're a little bit fuller, with a bit more food in you, what you look like potentially a little bit spilled over as well from potentially a really high refeed or spending some time on higher food. And I think that can be quite settling for especially first time competitors. If the first time that you've seen your physique fall is your peak week, that process could potentially be quite stressful. You might feel like you're losing your detail. You might feel like, oh my God, what's happening? I haven't felt like this. I've felt flat. I should look flat. I'm going to lose my condition. Whereas if you've just gone through the process of a prep where you've carb cycled, You're aware as to what you look like when you're a little bit fuller. You're aware as to what sits really well with you in terms of food. And that is episode 2 of Bite-Size Bodybuilding. I hope you found this one useful. If you do want help with your contest prep, or it's something that you want to do in the future, you can click the link in the description below. That will take you to my coaching application. Make sure to fill that out and I will be in touch. Until next time.